But some new stuff, please. I'm particularly looking forward to a little bit of
300.
300,
Rise
yes,
of an
definitely.
Empire.
A little bit of shouting.
So the first, 300 by Zack Snyder was actually, one of Zack Snyder's best films, because it did have a visual sensibility that kind of made sense in terms of the graphic novel source, and old graphic novel source SORCE as opposed to SAUCE in relation to the discussion that we were just having. And, it was fun, and it was, it was camp and brutal and all over the place, and it consisted of Gerard Butler going, "This is Sparta!" and all that stuff, and it therefore, spawned an entire way of being. Now we have 300 Rise of an Empire, which is a companion piece, a non-sequel, because existing in similar time periods, which is the story of Themistokles and Artemis. Themistokles of Athens.
You've made that up.
Well, it's from the film. Themistokles of Athens, although his accent appears to be via every airport in the world. And Artemisia, played by Eva Green. And he's a warrior, and she's a warrior queen, and together there's going to be... But in order to understand what's going on, you're going to have a massive amount of backstory exposition. Here's a clip.
Xerxes was reborn a god. Artemisia trusted no one. Though in the cover of night, the palace was cleansed of all Xerxes' allies. And as the God King stood before his people, Artemisia watched her flawless manipulation take shape.
For glory's sake, for vengeance' sake. War!
I'm thinking of having my chest oiled.
Yeah. The funny thing is that at the end of 300, I would have said I'm thinking of having my chest oiled, because it was kind of coherent and rip-roaring. This is just head-bangingly boring. The opening scroll voiceover goes on for about a decade. I grew an entire new set of teeth whilst listening to them explaining the thing with the him, and the thing did the what's it, and then he came out of the what thing with the other bit, and then she was cross because he had the... it's the sort of thing that makes the beginning of Phantom Menace seem like it's really cutting to the gym. All that stuff at the beginning of Phantom Menace about tax wars.
Well, where are we in this? Just fill me in a couple of sentences.
You remember where we were for 300? Greece and all that. So it's sort of happening alongside all of that stuff
in another part of Greece.
Well, sometimes same parts of Greece, because sometimes the narratives kind of intersect, but. Crucially, the story is the script is co-written by Zack Snyder from Xerxes, the Miller source, and directed by Noam Morrow, whose approach to the direction appears to be, let's just plod as heavily and as thuddingly and as overripely as is humanly possible. It's like, all the sort of the blood splattering, which is all sort of post-Zatoichi digital blood splattering, is completely dull. All the performances, in the case of 300, that sort of overripe, really kind of camp, everything is kind of quite funny. In this, it's just like, oh, shut up, stop talking. The thing seems to go on forever. There's a lot of kind of ripe dialogue which kind of makes references to maleness, and yet all the visuals are exactly as male gaze leering in terms of,
making reference to maleness.
Yes, basically there is toplessness in terms of the female cast, but the men keep the leather skirts on for all sort of
same as it ever was.
Same as it ever was.
Do you think the leather skirts should be removed then?
I thought, if you're going to do this, at least if what you're going to do is give us something which is, hey, well, it's got gender equality, because we've got not one but two sort of warrior queen, we're going to do all this properly, and you're going to have something for... In that case, it's so boring. It is so boring that, female nudity over here, male nudity over here, let's keep them completely different, because obviously it's a totally different thing, because there's men over there and there's women. And then the rest of it is just it looks like a computer game. Everything looks like, this panel on this panel on This plan looks like somebody sat there for ages, and there is no depth to any of it. It's loud and shouty, and the dialogue consists of war, and then Eva Green does a bit of talking, and somebody else goes, and it just, I got quite bored. It's rubbish. It's rubbish. And the funny thing is that some people are kind of going, well, you know what, it's all right, it's quite camp. No, 300 was quite camp, smart rubbish. This is just rubbish.